Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I was seriously about to say days. Um, so let's start with this whole Sunny side story thing. Um, so you're sitting there talking to Nina, and at this point, I feel like he is starting to get like a broken record to Nina as far as Elijah goes. Like, listen, no matter how many things you sit there and keep saying about Elijah, she's either gonna sit there and act like she doesn't care, or she's gonna sit there and sympathize with him. And so he tells her about his embezzlement scheme that he wound up doing and almost getting arrested for. And she hears it and she's like, oh well, things happen, second chances, and all that good other stuff. And at some point of this conversation, Elijah walks over. Now they're about to get into it, and Sonny's all like, oh, you should sit there and talk. Like, he's just going at Elijah about his past and just about him generally not trusting, like, people shouldn't trust him. Now, Nina, on her quest to, I don't know, try to defuse situation, defend Elijah, she's like, well, well, you were this type of person or something like that. Like, oh, well, you weren't having a good past or something like that she said. And I'm just like, Nina, I almost just like, damn it, I don't have my cake yet. Seriously, I was like, Nina, why would you sit there and start talking about his past or anything related to that, and you're not supposed to know him? You, Nina, you're an idiot. So she tries to fix her slip up, like, oh well, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, you don't know either, you could be a bad person or whatever. I mean, I just don't know. In some way, somehow she gets out of this conversation. um Now at some point Sonny does talk to Phyllis, and now here's the thing, and I want to mention, and I almost forgot this part. When Sonny was sitting there talking about the stuff that he found out about Elijah, I was just like, so you did all that digging about him, but you couldn't bother to do half of that effort about yourself? Okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. All right, cool. So that was just number one. Number two is when he told Phyllis about his embezzlement scheme and everything like that, and how he almost got arrested. And Phyllis was like, oh, okay. Phyllis, didn't this man try to, at one point, was gonna buy the Tano and, make sure you guys were good and everything like that, a nice nesting egg and everything like that? Like, so this man was gonna buy your business. And the only reason why he didn't buy it is because Mike mysteriously came up with the money for it. But he tells you about this embezzlement scheme that he was worked up in. And that's your response? Okay. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. I just sat there and I was just like, "Mhm. Okay. All right." So, at some point she pretty much tells Sonny to drop the conversation, just kind of just like let it go or whatever. Now, before then, Nina wasn't there giving Jax the riot act. Why are you here? She told you to give her space, and yada yada yada, and now you're bothering her, and she has time to heal, and she's just poor, beautiful, fragile. I was like, Phyllis, if you done knew half of the stuff that she did when she was in Port Charles, I'm pretty sure your whole trying to, I don't know, talk up Nina like she's just this beautiful, innocent woman would fall very flat, very fast. Um, but while she's sitting there talking to Jax spots Nina. Now, Jax talks to Nina, and at first, Nina, or somewhere along the lines, Nina's like, "Oh, you're gonna mess everything up." What is he gonna mess up? No, Nina. What is he gonna mess up? And Nina's like, no, you're gonna mess up my peace and my tranquility and all that other stuff. I was like, Nina, you are really bad at trying to get out of these whole, when you tell the truth, when you say something you're not supposed to say, you're really bad at covering it up. So then she starts acting all mean and nasty, talking about you lied to me and yada yada yada, doing everything that she can to try to push Jax away. Because if Jax spots Sunny, her whole plan just kind of implodes, and well, I can get that much deserved cake that I want. I haven't exactly decided on what cake I'm gonna get. When that day comes, I'm getting cake. And it pretty much just kind of ends off at that, like, Jax is pretty much like, so you're really not gonna give me another chance? I love you and everything like that, and like nothing. So yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see. Now, one scene that I felt like that was damn near entirely pointless, and we can all guess it. I'll give you like a few seconds. Maxie, that whole scene, listen, I get that it was nice that she came to terms with the idiotic mistake that she made, even though she had countless people lining up to sit there and tell her how much of a bad idea it was. But, in Maxie's eyes, they were all haters. So, yeah, the decision that she made with Peter bit her in the ass. But that whole scene, like her and the, Nathan's grave and everything like that, was just like, okay, cool. Great. We all know this at this point. Why are we selling this for? Like, why is this a thing? And the only thing that really came out of this whole scene was that Olivia overheard. Olivia was there over here. Olivia was also there to greet Dante when he was done with his session with Kevin. Other than that, I felt like Olivia's whole reasoning for being in this episode was damn near entirely pointless. But whatever. Now Finn and Anna. So Anna tells Finn, hey, listen, I know what's going on with Peter. I know what's going on with Chase. It was Peter. He poisoned. He poisoned Chase, and, he did it. He was trying to poison you and everything like that. And, she collects the vial or whatever, and, a little bit of the liquid, I guess. And she's like, you can use this to, try to make an antidote or, something. 1 second. So, yeah, she comes to Finn and, gives him the vial and everything like that. And at some point after, Finn is there nearly going to sit there and go out and kill Peter, he flips out on Anna. Basically sitting there saying, this is your fault, your nephew poisoned my son. Now, here's the thing, this is the second time, and I'm surprised I didn't really catch this the first time. Throughout this whole time, as long as he's known Chase, always been, his brother. He always referred to as his brother, my brother, whatever. That's how he felt. The minute that, this whole DNA test and everything like that, it turns out that, Chase is his son. Now he's being, very, super paternal. And I'm just like, how did that relationship just go so fast? I don't know. I feel like it just seemed like it... I know in his head, that Chase is his son. But the fact of the matter is, it just seemed I don't know, I guess out of instinct, the fact that he's just so quick to sit there and say, this is my son, and that's my son, it's you're so used to calling him your brother, the fact that it just flips that fast, it just seems, I don't know, I guess unnatural. I feel like his first instinct would be it's my brother or whatever still, but whatever. Anyway, he flips out on Anna, says stay away from him, stay away from his son, and he's going to take care of it. Now, listen, at this point, everyone knows how I feel about Anna. And I get that Finn is upset with Anna because, getting Anna in her life, in his life, you know, he's paying for that with Chase's life at this point. So I understand the anger and the frustration, especially dealing with what Chase is dealing with. But I'm like, yo, at least she actually told you the truth. At least she was sitting there willing to help you. Like, yeah, okay, it sucks what she did. Even if it was, like technically, Anna didn't poison Chase. It was Peter. But I understand the fact that you allowed Anna in your life, and that came with, well, everything else. But at least she actually did tell you that, though. She did sit there and try to get the vials so that way you can come up with something, find a plan or whatever. She's gonna sit there and try to stall him until you can come up with something. And yet you sit there and act like a dick to her. And granted, I'm not Anna's biggest fan. You all know this, but I felt like that was a little over the top. I don't know. Now, after Willow sees Chase, Michael and Willow are outside talking, and pretty much they're just like, yo, listen, we can't do this. We can't tell him that we're together until he's feeling until he feels better. Like, we just can't do it. Which, surprise, surprise, everyone could already figure that out. So that's what they do. Willow continues to sit there and stay by Chase's side. Dante even comes in. What I'm actually really surprised about is that when Dante came in the room, Dante wasn't like, oh, how you doing? Willow just told you that, her and Michael are a thing. Like, I'm surprised he didn't just accidentally blurt that out. Because I felt like if it was ever a time to accidentally do something like that, I felt like it was now. But for whatever odd reason, he didn't even sit there and talk about that. Like, he just came there and was just catching up and everything like that. And of course, Brooklyn was there. And Brooklyn didn't say anything at this point because, well, she wasn't going to say anything before. So she damn sure isn't going to sit there and say anything now. So they just pretty much catch up or whatever. Nothing really worth mentioning. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of just like, what was Dante actually doing in this episode? Like, I felt like he just was not needed. Like, all he did was talk to Olivia. He came in there, he talked to Chase for a little bit, and then he talked to, I guess, Michael at some point. And then that was pretty much about it. But I felt like, I know he was there for Chase and everything like that, but I felt like it was like, we could have just did this whole scene with Michael and Willow and maybe Brooklyn, and it would have went the exact same way. I felt like his presence there were just, I don't know. As I was sitting there looking at, like, whenever I do my notes and stuff like that, I put it like 1, 2, 3 or whatever. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, there's so many characters in this episode. I feel like some of them weren't necessary. That's how I'm looking at my notes right now. Also, whenever I feel like there's so many characters in the episode, I feel like somebody I'm going to forget. Like, somebody I'm going to forget. So, let's talk about, because actually, tell you the truth, these two scenes kind of go hand in hand. And that is Carly, Jordan, and Sean and Jason. So, Carly's sitting there talking to Carly's sitting there talking to Jordan about, like, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna arrest this guy? Like, what's going on? Like, what's your timetable? What's the ballpark? Like, what's good? And pretty much Jordan just doesn't give, Carly an answer because she can't. And Carly just pretty much just kind of updates Jordan on the fact that Florence is back with Cyrus, so, well, just keep your son close, because he could just sit there and kidnap him anytime he wants. Which, again, I felt like he could have just did that again, but whatever at this point. Seriously, when you stop to think about it, okay, so Cyrus' mother is being kept by Jason. What's to stop Cyrus from kidnapping Jordan again and forcing her hand? Or better yet, kidnapping Jocelyn, but whatever. So So anyway, they just kind of just talk, give each other a heads up, just tell each other to be safe. Now Carly has a plan, and I didn't understand what that plan was until Sean stabbed Jason. Um, and at some point, Sean was sitting there talking to Carly, talking about it was done. So yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. At first, when Jason and Sean were sitting there talking, and they were talking about alliances and stuff like that, and like about keeping each other safe, and now that Sonny's not quote unquote alive anymore, and Jason is in jail, there's not really a lot of goodwill apparently. Like, well, not really. There's not a lot of goodwill, but like there's not really a lot of clout. I guess if that's the right term for it. So they're kind of more on their own, and since Cyrus is kind of the big bad in the town right now, it's more people on Cyrus' side than it is on Jason, or Sonny's. So at that point, I was sitting there thinking, so what? Were you you one of Cyrus dudes now? Like this how you rock? That's what I was sitting there thinking in the beginning, because it looked like he had like a knife or whatever. It was hard to tell, and I'm not gonna lie. For some odd reason, 1 second. I'm not gonna lie, that song was just irritating the living life out of me, and it was so hard to speak. I was like, hold on for a second. But yeah, it was hard to see because I was watching it on YouTube, and when he, had the thing in his hand, whatever it was, for some odd reason, it just pointed to, Sean's shirt for some odd reason. So anyway, yeah, he stabs Jason, and Jason's on the floor, and yeah, I guess that's gonna be his plan to bust him out. Now the one thing I did want to say, because I did actually forget for a second, when Phyllis was sitting there giving Jax the riot act and everything like that, and yeah, okay, I get it. Nina's your friend, you're going to sit there and look out for her. And from her point of view, when Nina told Jax to back off, Jax's response was, okay, cool, let me go and try to find her. So I get the fact that, Phyllis is sitting there coming at Jax a certain way. Phyllis, let's not sit there and try to act like you're exactly squeaky clean. Like, that Mike is married to someone, and yet you were sitting there pushing, Nina onto him. So, I get where you're coming from, but let's, how about you just tone it down just a tad bit? Anyway, with that being said, I think that's about it. I don't think really a lot happened. It was good to see Sean. And at least, the only other good thing that really happened was that at least we have an idea, or more of an idea, of what Carly's plan was. Because she said she had a plan. And I'm, at this point, Jordan is, well, she's being Jordan, which is completely useless. And Anna, well, that's another one. So, at this point, you know what, Carly? Shoot your shot. Because clearly, the other two that I was just talking about, they're just, doing whatever. So, anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I will catch you in the next video. And I cannot believe I actually forgot my closing, I think, yesterday. Wow.